Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jay's Latest. I'm your host, Craig Bourne, and we're here to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays and just a little bit crazy baseball offseason stuff. So, on that note, let's jump right into it because wow, do we have something fun to talk about here? Because I'm just going to say maybe some shots were fired at the Dodgers here in this interview, just a touch, as we will jump right to the fun that was the interview with Tatsuya Amai. He took some shots at the Dodgers, and I'm going to read the quote as translated because there's always that fun to it as well. Amai went on to go say when he was asked about what it would be like to play with the Dodgers, and I want to take them down. Playing together with the players like Otani, Yamamoto, Sasaki, and others, of course, sounds fun. But I think beating a team like that and becoming world champions would be the most valuable thing in my life. I like this kid. And I'm not just saying that because the Dodgers just beat us, but there is something to somebody that just wants to step toe to toe with the best and want to actually try and take them on. It's very Rocky Five ish or whatever it might be. So to hear Amai say those things and read that about it and all that kind of good stuff, it just to me it shows a wonderful piece of character that he's ready to compete. He's good to go. He wants to come here and not just beat the best, but be the best. So the young hurler obviously is posted. He is currently being chauffeured around and taken to all the Major League Baseball teams that are currently interested in him. He is 27 years old. So out of the three major Japanese stars that are coming potentially to the U.S. to play Major League Baseball, he is easily the youngest. And he has some very, very good qualities and would be loving to see what he can do on the mound. This right-hander has got what is going on. And to that point, I think it's very fun, like I said, that he's just already got that attitude and that swagger. He's ready to go. And then there's this funny little story that hasn't been talked out a lot in Major League Baseball that's 6 degrees from this whole thing. There was a big fight in Japan as far as basically a heavyweight boxing match. And who else? None other than the Toronto Blue Jays were found advertising in the ring for this boxing match. Literally, all four corners had big Toronto Blue Jays logos in it. And on the mat, all these wonderful things. And Major League Baseball is saying the Blue Jays went rogue in doing this advertising. And I quote that they are not allowed to advertise abroad without permission from Major League Baseball. And I'm just sitting here going, isn't the whole team abroad already? Otherwise, they wouldn't be allowed to advertise in Canada. What are we talking about here? Semantics. Unless there is something there, what did they do wrong? I just think it's hilarious and stupid at the same time that the Blue Jays would not be able to take advantage of the Japanese baseball market and advertise just as much as any other team. We already know the Yankees do it. We already know the Dodgers do it, so on and so forth. Screw Major League Baseball if they think that that's something that they're going to be able to tell the Blue Jays not to be able to do this. I think this is a brilliant move if this was officially the Toronto Blue Jays saying, hey, let's sponsor some stuff right in the backyard and get some of these young players that are talking to the, majors trying to get to the Blue Jays. Show them the brand. Show them what we did in the World Series. If they're baseball fans like they are in Japan, like I keep hearing, that is going to go a long way, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in that to that point. So, well played, Blue Jays, and I hope that they figure out that the fact that there is this whole team that we play north of the border and are already out of the country and abroad from the United States. It's so stupid. Some rules are just made to be broken, right? So, on that note, let's dive right into the next pieces of our fun here. We got some trade fallout discussions that we need to talk about from the Marcus Semien and the Brandon Nimmo trade yesterday. And that is the Mets all of a sudden might be looking to potentially move on from Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil has been very upsy downsy through his whole entirety of his major league career. His last 2 years have definitely been on the down part. He's been always pretty much a two-war player. There are some major outliers in his 2 seasons where he was a Major League Baseball All-Star, producing a 5.4 and a 5.9 WAR respectively. Crazy good. Would the Blue Jays be able to knock on the door and maybe be able to inquire the second base, third base / outfield fun? It just smells like another awesome person to have in this wonderful turntable that we have going around our wonderful diamond. Jeff McNeil might be a fun person to have involved in that. And like I said, this is a guy that 2 years ago batted 3 years ago batted 270. The year before they batted 326. So great bat to ball skills that has been really thrown off for some reason over the last 2 years. Maybe this is a change of scenery candidate for the young 32-year-old. Yes, I said it. He'll be actually 34 before the season starts here. But he has always found a way to keep the bases moving, score a lot of runs, hit doubles, might play up in the Rogers Center. He's projected for the 2026 season to have 21 doubles, 3 triples, 11 home runs, 48 RBIs, and batting .248. Depending on what the price is, maybe that's not such a bad racket, because right now his position might have been just taken by Marcus Semien. So if they want to be able to possibly offload, maybe the Blue Jays should go knocking. You never know what you're going to get in a trade, especially come the, crazy that is the actual spring training season and everything. Maybe this would actually be one of those little things that helps and pushes the needle just a little bit further. Hit us up in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Or make sure you just join us live, Jaybird Watching, on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. And we will talk, obviously, more on that topic. But we got one more. This one's a little bit of a fun one. The hypothetical talk. MLBTradeRumors.com posted a wonderful article today about their polls that they've been asking everybody for the Major League Baseball offseason. And there's some fun here. It's saying that, where everybody's going to go in quote-unquote projection based on a lot of people that voted. So they're saying pretty much unanimously that Bo Bichette's going to land back in Toronto, 81.5% of the vote. Kyle Tucker is going to be a Dodger. Thanks. Appreciate it, everybody. 39% of the votes went to that. Dylan Cease will end up with Red Sox, potentially a Cub, pretty close. Mutaka Murakami will end up a Met. Alex Bregman stays with the Red Sox. Framber Valdez ends up with the Giants, potentially the Mets. Pretty close voting there. Tetsuya Amaya, like we were just talking, Amaya ends up with the Dodgers, regardless of that wonderful quote. I don't think anybody knew this one a few weeks ago when this poll started. Bellinger and Schwarber both stay put. And then the Blue Jays' big fish for this offseason is Ranger Suarez, unless you count Bo Bichette coming back. Pete Alonso stays a Met. Josh Naylor, we already know. Edwin Diaz stays a Met. Mike King goes to the Orioles. I thought that one was quite interesting. And then before we get into too crazy, Zach Gallen, Diamondbacks. Devin Williams, Dodgers. Brandon Woodruff, Brew Crew. Trent Grisham, already know that one. Okamoto, the other Kazuma Okamoto, also apparently is every Japanese player is just going to be the Japanese Dodgers at this point. Eugenio Suarez, Robert Suarez goes to the Dodgers. Amango, we already know, stays put. Jorge Polanco is going to probably stay put. Chris Bassett should quote-unquote stay put. And then the 25th person, Merrill Kelly, ends up going back to the D-backs too. And those are all, like I said, crazy ones there. That's about 5,000 people voting on that, self-included. It just was fun to be able to see some people's opinions and goof around and have some fun with it. But it is interesting that non-Blue Jays fans are thinking Robert Suarez ends up being our lefty, our starting rotation. Very interested to see where that goes. But until then, I hope you all enjoyed your time here at Jay's Latest. Tune in. Make sure you have some fun with us. We will have whatever we talk about every day here. Make sure you join us and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon. Cheers, and go Blue Jays.